Hey everyone, it's your boy Moses and you're welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a mono drums group that sounds like this to this. Alright, let's get into it. So if you're in a situation like me and you have a mono drums to work with, how do you think you can, play around with it to make it to sound good, to make it to fit better with the instrument because you don't have a lot of controls over all the individual drums. So we just have to make it work somehow. For those who don't know what a mono drums is, let me show you something. So if you look at these drums right now, look at the signal, the wave signal that I'm showing you right now, you can see there's only one track that you're seeing. But if I show you, like this pad right here is, you see two tracks. It's a stereo track. That's, if for those who don't know, that's the difference between a stereo and a mono. All right, so let's start from there. Let's start from scratch and let's see what each of these individual plugins this processing are doing to the mix. Okay, first one is just a gain stage, nothing serious, just an extra 6 dB, 0.6 dB, doesn't even make any difference maybe, but I have it in there. We still have our mono drums. Now micro shift right here, this is where the width, most of the width is already coming from. This is made by Soundtoys. The Style 2, I don't know which one they're modeling on Style 2. It sounds good to me, less phasey. And I'm just, dialing in the mix about 27%, but I'm taking the focus to about 239. What this is doing is I'm not widening the whole thing. Anything from this 239 to 10K will get a stereo width, but from that 239 downward, it's not going to be, as wide as the other thing. So without, wait, so you can already hear the width in that place already. Now next one is this SPL Ion. I like it on drums. I just load up a template, load up a preset right here. I don't know what this is, drum hump, whatever. Just like what it sounds like, widening it a little bit more. But in this place, I'm also making, using the mono maker right here, I'm making sure everything from about, let me go back to where I was before. Anything from 92 hertz is just in mono, and everything from that above is widened an extra 106%, nothing crazy, and doing some tiny compression, even less than 1 dB of gain reduction. Using these suits, if you can hear those cymbals, okay, see the way it's softening those cymbals. Let's listen to that again. It just makes it more pleasing to hear. Let me show you what that it's doing. It's taking out all this bad frequency, all this frequency that can kind of like alter your ears. Okay, and it's taking all of that for you, taking that out for you. Okay, so after that, I'm sending these to parallel processing, CLA 76 waves. Just marking this one. So let's see what the parallel compression is doing. Just marking it and blending it in, parallel compression, just basic parallel compression. Now all of these together, this one is now going into another bus. I'm just adding more processing, okay? In this one now, we're doing more subtractive EQing is in this one, taking out the rumbles and all of those low mid frequency that we don't really need, taking out some more harshness. So you can see what that is doing, nothing serious, nothing crazy. An extra compressor, Logic stock compressor. I like this compressor, this one. I like this one on drums, this DBX 160 style. And it's just doing some, I mean, just listen to that. It's if you turn on this soft distortion, whatever, it sounds really good. I like it. And I just use that, blend it in. Let's go on to the next one, stock plugin again, the Putec kind of EQ, just adding some more low ends, boosting, attenuating, boosting top range in this boosting in this place again, using this one to just kind of like, the mid range of the old drum kit, bringing it up a little bit more. Let's see what it sounds like without it. With it. Big difference, just that stock plugin doing that big difference. Now we're taking this one right here, we're sending it to like a destroying kind of like distortion plugin from Soundtoys again, Devolock. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what this one sounds like. It's just gonna make that drums to sound bigger. I'm using a preset from Drum Giant Sizer, like what it says, right? Drum Giant Sizer. Make it bigger a little bit, just a little bit bigger. I took the preset a little bit. I want, and I'm using this EQ to kind of just gain stage a little bit because Devolock doesn't have like a trim or something. Gain stage a little bit, filter out all of those. Okay, let me show you what this EQ is actually doing. Okay, that's the Devolock by itself. I felt like that is just kind of like a little too much. Just filter it out a little bit and just get the room energy from that plugin only. All right, so let's move on to the next part. All right, let me show you what this kind of routing is, what I'm doing with the routing here. The drums is going to drum bus, and the drum bus is going into the drum master, right? But these drums parallel processing with a compressor, right? It's going into the master, the drums master, and also the distortion, okay? This distortion right here is also going into the drum master. Everything goes into the drum master. This drum master, we're now doing more processing here. We have a gain plugin which we're using to like gain stage everything, just kind of bring everything down a little bit because we're adding volume as we're processing some of these things. The next one is this compressor. This compressor is just compressing everything a little bit. And up next is PX Digital V3, adding a little bit of more stereo width, EQing stuff, just some frequency that that's with the EQ, without the EQ. Just giving it more room, more width. I'm also making sure I'm still using the mono maker. Now I'm taking the mono maker up a little bit to like 124. All of those kick energy and some of the toms just stay in mono because I don't want them to sound weird when we are adding forced stereo width into them. Okay, a little bit of more EQing, taking out some. If you listen to the snare that you're hearing here now, if without the EQ, with the EQ, it's just cleaning out a little bit of that, low mid range a little bit more, making that snare to kind of just sound, it's kind of like a ringing, and I just want to take out that ring frequency in that area. I'm adding some Saturn into this, just using a preset Magic Mastering, and this one just to kind of get more energy out of the drums. Without the Saturn, let's see what it sounds like. With Saturn. Next one, I'm just adding more of some analog saturation, cranking the THD here, harmonic distortion, adding a little bit of top end, also adding a little bit of bottom end in the 63 and 31 frequency. Crazy. Now, on to the next one, adding some room verb, adding some hall verb to the whole thing. Now, but I don't like the way that snare is sounding right now. I actually want to feel an actual snare. So we're going to do some little magic, some trick. So I'm sending all of these drums to a channel, okay? Sending it to an auxiliary channel, bus 7, taking this channel and putting a gate on this channel right here. And what this gate is going to do is just going to get out every other thing that actually does not sound like snare. I'm using a preset from here that is called Snare Shot. So what this is going to do is just going to get out everything that does not sound like an actual snare, right? If it doesn't sound like snare, it will get it out. All of the top end, all of the low end. If you see the side chain here from 399 to like 2.9 kilohertz, it's kind of like taking them out. And I'm also still doing more of, taking out the top end and low end a little bit more, even by myself, by filtering them. But the gate is going to do way more. The gate is actually the magic here. But then I'm taking this gate right here. If I read this gate, okay, you see it says drums no out. This drum is not going anywhere. This gate sound is not going anywhere. Okay, I'm making sure it's going to no output, but I'm sending it on a pre-fader or post-fader, whichever way. I'm sending it to a channel where I'm going to use to trigger. Okay, so my trigger track is going to sound like this. So that's the snare that we filtered out with this Pro G. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that I'm getting a level of snare that is just on the same level, same volume as much as possible. So I'm going to just limit this. I don't even need this snare actually. I just want a signal, right? A signal of the snare. So I'm going to limit this signal like crazy and boost the gain and bring the gain back a little bit. So you're gonna see that that snare is gonna be coming out at that level, and it's gonna just stay right there. It sounds distorted because we're cranking it like crazy, but that's fine because we're gonna use it to trigger an actual sample from snare trigger, using some preset from the samples that comes with this trigger 2 from Slate Digital. Okay, the browser. I don't know if we are at the hub, but you can see snare 10, snare chili snare, and Slate snare. Okay. We're triggering that, and this is what we're going to get from that. So we get an actual snare. Okay, if you don't have that snare, you can use if you don't have trigger 2, you can use drum exchanger, and you find another sample that works for you. But in this case, I just like what trigger 2 is doing, and I'm compressing that a little bit as well. So every time my drum is coming out, I have that. Pardon me for this system overload. It's so hot right now, but let's see what we can do. Without the snare trigger, that's without the snare trigger. With the snare trigger, it's just bringing out that energy, and it's, you're actually thinking you're hearing a good snare because we can separate the old drums and get that snare out of that whole drums. It's so mind-blowing. And you take all of this snare right now, you can send it to a good snare plate that you like. So I can just look for a good reverb in your whatever, Valhalla. In this case, I'm actually, I know some people like to do something like this, reverb. I have a preset reverb cleaner. Just clean the reverb, clean the top end, clean the low end. But in this one, I just want something different. I want the sheen of that snare to kind of pop out a little bit. That's why I'm actually boosting the reverb so that I like what that is doing, and adding that into the mix. And we're done. We have a drums that sounds like this. It actually sounds like a drum, and we're coming from a mono drums that sounded like this. And now we are here. Now I have a mix boss, and in the all mix, this is what we're gonna have. It's so hot, my computer is just not cooperating, but you guys understand the idea. It's not perfect, but just want to share the knowledge with you. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Peace.